This is Duke University.
Good afternoon. I am Glaucia Petkov. I am an LLM student from Brazil. First, I want to thank you, all of you, for attending this presentation, which I know we will find very informative. I also want to thank our presenters who have traveled here from the cold in New York to the always sunny skies of Durham. And I'd like to pass to my colleague that will introduce one of the presenters. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Isabel. I'm an LLM from Venezuela. Now I would like to introduce Mr. Banegas. He's originally from Venezuela too, and a former LLM here at Duke. Mr. Banegas received his Master of Law from Duke University in 2005. He's a senior legal consultant for Verizon Wireless. He has been a founding partner of Palacios, Ortega and Asociados, a law firm in Venezuela. His expertise is focused on corporate matters. He's a member of the International Advisory Board to Duke University School of Law. He has been member of the board of several companies in the telecom and consumer goods industries. He has worked in Venezuela as an in-house counsel for several major companies such as Citibank and IBM. And he was also alternate judge at a superior tax court in Venezuela and external assistant to one of the justices in the Venezuelan Supreme Court. Currently, he is also included in the arbitrators list of the Supreme Court of Florida and Arbitration Court of Mercosur. Welcome.
Thank you, Isabella, Glaucia, and thank you all for coming. I was not expected this size of audience, and that's good. And about the weather in New York, let me tell you, today was cooler here than there, so it was shocking for me not to get rid of my coat when I step out of a plane. But well, here I am. Well, my objective here was to kind of give you some experience that I had back in 2000. I was graduated in 2000, not 2005, from law school here, regarding the career development and trying to give you some tools to understand and to try to manage your future when you get out of the law school here with your JD degree or your LLM degree. In 2000, Venezuela was starting to, Venezuelan economy started to tumble down because of the political situation. So there was not many interest in Venezuelan attorneys at that time. So the first thing that happened to me back then was that no one had an interest in me, and I didn't get not even one interview when I applied for the job fair and sent all my cover letters and all that. So I was very concerned about that and quite discouraged because I thought that was something about me, but then I realized that it was a problem of the situation in Venezuela. I had an opportunity, though, to go back to Venezuela with one of former partners of a law firm I used to work for there. That they opened, they split from that law firm and opened a new law firm and provided me with the opportunity of joining them in founding a new law firm there. So it was a very encouraging and a very good opportunity that I was having at that time. But still, I wanted to have my opportunity of developing my career or having some training in U.S. Practice. So at that time, when I didn't get any interview, I was on the dilemma whether to stay here for a few more months, you know, sit for the bar and all that, or go back to Venezuela. The opportunity at that time was so good going back that I went back immediately. And it turned out to be great. I was involved in the biggest transactions back there at that time, hostile takeovers, problems with shareholders, mergers and acquisitions that were very important for Venezuelan economy at that time. And the good thing that I had at that time was that during the first year that I went back to Venezuela, I had the opportunity to apply each and every learning I took from law school here in Duke to apply it in a practical way back in Venezuela. So my first lesson there is that you need to try to benefit from the opportunities you are getting at any time the best you can, regardless of if it is what you wanted to do or not, but try to benefit of the opportunities you are having at that time. You need to have your objectives quite clear, and you need to know where to go. But you need to, at the same time, try to match your opportunities with those objectives, and that way try to develop your career in a way that you envisioned from the beginning. So first, try to have a good idea of what you want to become in the future, and based upon that, make the decisions based on the opportunities you are given at the time that is happening. So I went there, and when I went back to Venezuela, all these good transactions and deals and situations there, many of them were with Verizon. Verizon Communications had an interest in Venezuela, a very important interest in the telephony in Venezuela, and we were attorneys for Verizon there. So year passed, and once the economy started to perform very bad now, and I didn't have meaningful jobs and meaningful tasks to achieve in Venezuela. I spent like 3 years or so winding up or liquidating companies that were important for Venezuelan economy, throwing employees away in a rate of more than 1,000 per year. I heard back from Verizon again, and at that time it was to come here and become an in-house counsel for them here in the U.S. So once again, I was blessed with a great opportunity of developing and enhancing my career further, and I decided to accept that job offer, and here I am. 12 years later, working here as I wanted to do back then when I graduated from Duke Law School, with a great experience of having had the opportunity to learn and enhance my career in Venezuela and provide something back to my country where I was raised and where I started to become a lawyer. And now, with another new opportunity to enhance my career, I believe that this will take me to a later stage that will probably be better than what it was before. So the lesson I would like you to take from this is that, again, avail from the opportunities you have, but be very clear on your objectives, and that way you will be able to develop your career as you wish. Okay.
We will open for questions. Do you have any questions that you'd like to ask from Mr. Banegas? Mr. Mr. Banegas, I'd like to ask you a question. I'd like you to talk to us a little bit more. What is, as you had the two experience as an in-house counsel and to work in a law firm, could you give us your impressions about how to work in a law firm, how to work in an in-house position, how these positions interact with each other?
Sure. Sure. Well, that's a good question. I started my career as an in-house attorney, and actually was a law clerk for a corporation in Venezuela. And after being an in-house attorney for law clerk and then in-house attorney for more than 4 or 5 years, I became an attorney of a law firm, and I started a law firm career there. The way that you develop your career is very different in a corporation than in a law firm. When you are in a corporation, you are part of a team that will allow the corporation to achieve their objectives, which are not legal objectives. They are business-driven objectives, and you are part of the team that will help the corporation to achieve that. In that way, your perspective and your standpoint of being a legal advisor is to try to help the business people to achieve that goal and provide them the tools to get to that point where the corporation has envisioned. Whereas when you are working in a law firm, you are the product, because the legal advice that you provide is actually what is being sold by the corporation that is the law firm. So you become the product, and you are sometimes a little more spoiled because you are the product and you should provide a better advice, and you have all the resources to do that. Whereas when you are in a corporation, you have to make the team achieve their objectives regardless of your position and all that. Of course, you have to keep them on track and make them comply with the law, but there's a greater goal that goes beyond practicing law than in a law firm. I'm not saying this because either one is better than the other one. The only thing is that the approach is completely different. When you are in a corporation, you become more a manager and a person who manages the risks of the company or help other ones who make the decision to manage the risk. Whereas when you work for a law firm, you provide the legal advice for them to decide. You don't get involved that much in the business. When you come out of a law school like Duke, where entrepreneurship is always boosted and somehow encouraged, you would like to have the approach of being part of a company, because you would like to always try to achieve greater goals than just a career development. And I believe that in that way, being here at Duke Law School it provides you a very good tool for achieving that, because it gives you a more dynamic way of thinking, and it will allow you to fit on a corporate way of looking or approaching the law, the practice of law. Mm-hmm. Well, I work for Verizon Wireless, which is a unit of Verizon Communications. And for Verizon Wireless, we are around 75 in-house attorneys. But for Verizon communications, it should be double that size. So it should be something around 250 or so attorneys for the entire corporation.
Yes?
What was your main motivation for coming to do law back then and become qualified in the U.S.? Some benefits, I assume, in dual qualification?
Sure. Well, definitely it was, my main objective was enhancing my career. In Venezuela at that time, the biggest investments came from the U.S. So we were very well connected with the U.S. economy. We are Venezuela is mainly is an oil producer, and many U.S. oil companies had a lot of interest in Venezuela. So there's a natural connection with the U.S. Economy at that time that led me to choose the U.S. over any other jurisdiction. But basically was a career enhancement to come to Duke.
Do you see any benefits, maybe from the company's, from Verizon's perspective, or maybe your career's perspective, for you working in the States, but at the same time having a dual qualification? Okay. More simply, how do you see yourself differentiated from the other U.S. lawyers in the U.S. market?
Well, sure. First of all, my experience here in Duke was terrific. The opportunity of being involved with so many people from around the world provides you a broader view of everything. So it will allow you to see the world differently. I can tell you that I was one before coming to Duke and another person completely different after coming to Duke Law School. And that's something that may be achieved, I think, only in law schools as Duke, where necessarily you need to get involved with your classmates. Whereas if you go to New York, for instance, you have so many things going around you, surrounding you, that you sometimes don't pay attention to your classmates. Here in Duke, you pay attention to your classmates, and that connection you make with all the attorneys from all over the world gives you a completely different view. So how do I see different? How do I see me differentiated from other attorneys? Well, having that broader view of the world economy, I am not just thinking about the U.S. Jurisdiction, but I'm thinking about the world, and that there are opportunities not only here, but somewhere else, and those opportunities need to be seized by someone. And that's how I think having a global perspective changes everything.
How much of Verizon Wireless business is global now? Do you know?
Verizon Wireless,
Yeah.
almost none. Almost none. Yeah, but they have to develop markets within the United States directed to other cultures, like Hispanic culture, like Asian culture. And preparing for that needs to requires a support from a global perspective.
Is there another question?
Sorry, the second part of my question was what kind of legal issues you deal with? Are they contract related or IP related?
No. Today, we are developing mobile payments, which is completely new service that is not regulated, that is barely blooming, and it entails using your mobile device as a payment method, as a payment device. So how do I contribute for that project is because of all my previous experience with banks, with dealing with consumers, dealing with telecoms, and all that gives me some background that allow me to provide some knowledge to that group that is driving this product and trying to set everything to provide the service at the end.
So thank you, Mr. Banegas.
Thank you.
I'd like to introduce you, Julian Vasques from Chile. Julian is director in the New York office of PricewaterhouseCoopers. He has over 11 years of experience advising multinational companies with respect to their business operations in Latin America and how to operate in a tax-efficient manner. Julian has also advised in large acquisitions of companies in the retail, insurance, financial service, and investment management business. He has significant experience in the tax structuring of investments and operations in Brazil, Mexico, Argentina, Chile, and other Latin American countries. Julian received his Master of Laws from Duke University in 2005. He is a Chilean attorney, graduated from the Catholic University of Chile with a Master in Chilean taxation from the same law school. Julian is currently pursuing a Master in U.S. taxation at Fordham University in New York. Julian, welcome, and thank you again once more for being here with us.
Thank you.
Please.
Speak about well, thank you for having me here, I guess. It's really nice to be back in the school, and it's so nice to see all the things that I saw at that time, so different now. The school is, I'm not going to say way better, but it looks more beautiful. You know, the building is amazing how it is now. It's a really good school. So let me, I guess the idea is to tell you my experience at Duke and in my career. Like she said, I'm an attorney from Chile. I became a lawyer maybe in 2000. So, well, maybe 1999. And I graduated as a lawyer in 2000. I pursued a master in taxation in Chile. I have always worked at PricewaterhouseCoopers. I started in Chile as a lawyer. In Chile, PricewaterhouseCoopers, I know is not a law firm. It's more, like business-oriented accounting firm. But it has a lot of people that they are lawyers. In Chile, most of the countries outside the U.S., PricewaterhouseCoopers, most of the people that work in the tax department are lawyers. In Chile, I was one of the lawyers dealing with tax litigation. So I was working all the time in, going to the Supreme Court, Court of Appeals, et cetera, like just 100% lawyer. So one day I said, okay, I want to study something. I want to do something else. So that's why I started looking for, LLMs, masters. And one of the partners in my firm in Chile, he graduated from Duke. So he told me about Duke. And I said, well, this is a great school. So I started looking for, getting information about it. And I applied to Duke. So I got accepted. And that was in 2004. I graduated from Duke in 2005. Excellent experience. It's really like Arturo said, I mean, the next day that you graduated, you feel like you are different. You feel like you are someone else, that you want to change the world. I mean, it's like, okay, I want to do something different. I want to go out and do something that nobody has ever done, and I'm going to do something completely different. I'm going to change my life, something like that. So I went back to Chile at that time. That was in 2005, and kept working with Pricewaterhouse there. In 2006, they told me there is a position. Well, Pricewaterhouse has offices all over the world. So they told me, where do you want to go? You want to go to Spain? You want to go to, Europe, anywhere? So I said, okay, Spain is one option. And then, for some reason, a position opened in New York. So I applied to New York, and I got it, and I came to New York in July 2006. Ever since, I've been working in Pricewaterhouse in New York, in the New York office. And the experience there is, the department that I work is the international tax department. So what I do is basically oversee the whole world from a tax standpoint. Transactions that are usually big companies, you know, they have multinationals. They have offices everywhere. I mean, everywhere. In every single little country in the world, some companies, you know, they have an office there. Walmart, you know, asset managers like Blackstone, BlackRock. Those are huge names that I used to work, you know, on a daily basis, helping them with their transactions. From a tax standpoint, what we do is to help in design the structure. We say in a tax-efficient manner, which basically means to reduce the taxes that they pay in every country. So we try to always, you know, going by the books and following the rules, but being very creative in the structures that we build. So my area is mainly Latin America. I work with most of all the countries in Latin America. Every day I talk to all of them. I learn. I had the opportunity to learn their taxes in every single country. So now I can basically, we call it like a pan-regional expert. So I can basically advise on transactions in everywhere in Latin America. But at the same time, Europe is also in, I don't know if anyone here is interested in tax, but you might hear about Luxembourg, Netherlands. Those are very typical countries that we use for tax structuring. So I had to deal with them. I had to, you know, to talk to them, to understand their laws, understand their tax issues and everything. And by being a lawyer, that's so helpful. And in my department, in the tax department in New York, most of the people are lawyers. U.S. Lawyers from different schools, and European lawyers, Asian lawyers. I mean, we have people from all over the world. All of them are lawyers. So we all understand not only the tax issue or the accounting issue, but the legal structure. And I can say that Duke gave me like the tools to basically navigate everything, like to read every single tax law, every single you know, regulatory body of law, and I can basically deal with that and understand what they do, what they are trying to say, and I get the concept, and I can use it. I can read it and understand what is the reason for something, and I can, you know, interpret and tweak it to make it work for me, to make it positive for my transaction. And that is something that is really amazing. I mean, all the classes that I had here, at that time was Structuring Finance, I remember the name, or with Professor Cox. All those classes, they give you so much information that is so useful. In not only something that you keep, you know, that you learn at that time, but you can go back to your books, or you can buy books and keep reading and keep studying and keep learning, and opening your eyes, opening your mind to so many different things that you haven't seen before. That's something that I also think is very important for you as you know, JDs or finishing your LLM, is to go out there. Of course, you can keep, you know, the idea of changing the world. I mean, it's always good to have it. But be more realistic. It's like trying to change the world in your life, trying to change your own world. And really using this experience of being at Duke as something that a game changer, something that is going to take you to the next level. You were someone before coming to school, you're a different person when you finish. And it's true. And if you believe it, and you keep like thinking that way, you can go out and you distinguish yourself from other people, from other lawyers. This is all about. I mean, this, when you go out and you want to get a position at a law firm or any company, in-house or everything, is you want to show that you have something that no one else has, that you have something that is, you know, distinguish yourself from anyone else. I don't know how many of you here are LLMs from foreign schools or like foreign. Huh? Oh, Chile. So you probably know very well what it is having, you know, a background that is from a different country that helps you to distinguish yourself. One of the questions before was compared to JDs, U.S. JDs. Well, what I've seen is like a lot of JDs from the U.S. Most of you here, you know that you have to get the experience for international experience. And it's not only just meeting people or, you know, being on Facebook, you're having a friend in Japan, or it's about really trying to get in touch with the culture, trying to get every single opportunity you have, if you work in a law firm or in a big company, the global mobility, to have the chance to go to a different country, spend 6 months, a year, whatever, just to be there so you can come back to the US if you're working here and use that experience to help you to be better, to provide better advice to your clients, and to help, you know, your own career. If you distinguish yourself from anyone else by showing that you have something that no one else has, that probably, there is always someone, you know, that is, you might say, oh, well, that person is, his resume is almost the same as mine, her resume is almost the same as mine. But no, but there is, the power is in how you explain that, how you perceive your own experience. So as JDs, as LLMs, or students that, you know, you're here now in the classroom, but tomorrow you have to go out and start working in the real world. It's different out there. It's really, maybe some of you already have experience, but out there it's a wild war. I mean, it's like you have a lot of competition, you have a lot of people that can always say, hey, I'm better than you, I'm better than this guy, I have things that the other, well, that's where you need to work. I mean, in building yourself, building something that distinguishes yourself from anyone else. And you have to believe it. And this, at the same time, is a learning process. That is a continuous learning process. You have to continue always studying. Using what you learn here at Duke, you have to take it in with you and keep going and keep looking for things, looking for, you know, sources of information, keep reading books, writing articles, putting everything, you know, that's something that is also very important. That's, personally, I try to do that in my field, is to write articles, at least 1 or 2 every year, about different topics. My thing is taxes, so I try to write a lot about taxes in Latin America, in the world, and that's something that is very important. Don't take Duke as, okay, this is Duke, I got it in my resume, it's a great school, everything, but then you don't do anything else. No, you have to keep going. Next year, 5 years more, you have to use what you learn here and put it to work. That's what you need to do, and that's going to make you completely different to anyone else. So when I finished Duke here, I was so happy that I had my LLM. So I went back to my country, and when they told me about like going to a different country to work, from Chile coming to New York is so different. So when they told me about it, one question that I had was, okay, am I going to be able to do this? Am I going to be able to compete, you know, in the major league? Well, you all can always do it. You just need to trust yourself, trust your capabilities, what you know, and you probably can do it. And you can, if you have the opportunity, don't ever say, no, I don't think I can do that. Just do it. Just go ahead. You have to believe yourself. You have to believe that you have the power to do that. You have the knowledge, and you can, again, you have to trust on your skills to compete with other people. That is very, very important, and that's something that you need to work here to build it. The network, like Arturo was saying, I mean, having people here, you have the chance to meet people from everywhere. In my firm, in my department, in my floor, I have people from everywhere in the world. I mean, from all over Europe, all over Asia, or over Latin America. And it's so helpful to have someone that you know in any other jurisdiction. When you have an issue in Switzerland, when you have an issue in Turkey, or anywhere in the world, if you have someone, if you know someone, that is so helpful. So here, you have the chance to interact with other people. You have the chance to interact with JDs or with people from different countries. Do it. Talk to them and then build your network, build your brand, build your name as something that is, everybody knows, oh, I remember this guy, he was from, I don't know, country XYZ, and I'm going to call him, I need some help. You don't know when, but in the future, that can help you. So it's very important to be open, to talk to everyone, to be open to share your experience and to receive the experience of other people. That is very important in your career. That's very important in the way you interact with the world. Actually, that's something that is really, it gives you a lot of information that's maybe you don't know that is helpful now, but it will be in the future. So just keep open your mind, keep always looking for different things and always trying to learn more. Those are the things that I probably can tell you. And as a lesson that I would say, okay, this is the lesson that I learned. the most important one is being flexible. Being flexible to change, being flexible to try different things, and being flexible to receive other ideas, to receive other concepts, other cultures. That is very, very important. If you're not flexible and you go out there and you think that your truth is the only one that exists in the world, that's probably wrong. You need to be open to listen other people, to listen other ideas, to listen different positions. That is also good in business. In business, you need to be open. What I do is to develop structures, tax structures. So I'm always like thinking outside the box. I'm always saying, okay, what is this? We have this structure. Somebody's saying, well, this is the structure. Don't worry, that's it. No, but maybe we can do it in a different way. So that means that you have to be open. You have to be flexible to listen to other people and say, well, maybe that's right. Maybe you can come up with an argument and say, well, that's not right because, X, Y, Z. Okay, but you listen to that idea, and maybe you can take a little bit of that. So that's also another very important lesson, is to be flexible, to open your mind, and to be able to communicate to others. That's very important here at Duke and tomorrow in the world when you are working in a law firm or anywhere in the world. You're going to need that. You need to have those skills. You need to have the capability to do that. So that's I guess is my message to you. Try to be very brief, but I think it's really exciting. Like you are like finishing your, I don't know, halfway through your master's, or you're almost your third year of JDs, or you're almost about to go out and start working in the real world. So I don't know if you've seen the movie Beautiful Mind. They say in the Beautiful Mind, the professor, when he walks in the room, he says, oh, these are the eager young minds of tomorrow. Well, you probably are the eager young minds of tomorrow, so you are the ones that probably are going to go out tomorrow and start working and like competing with everyone in the real world. Well, it's good. Enjoy this moment. Share with your classmates. Talk to them. Learn as much as you can. And tomorrow, just put it to work. I mean, okay, what you learn, here it is. I'm going to use it. Even if you don't use 100%, 10% is going to be, good. So just keep going and enjoy the rest of the year, and have fun. I mean, and at the same time, it's always good to have fun. I don't know if, any question? Any experience that someone wants to share? Or, yeah.
I have a question. So I'm just trying to get a better idea of sort of how your firm interacts with a large corporate client. If they're trying to design a transaction and they need tax advice, they go to you, but do they also go to a law firm, or do you retain law firms to to design a structure that would minimize the tax burden across jurisdictions? How does that work?
Well, there is, I guess, a little bit of both. We provide tax advice on our own. We cannot give legal advice in the U.S. Legally speaking, we cannot, because we're not a law firm. But what we can do is to design the structure. And usually we work with law firms in New York, all of them, and we are in constant communication with them. So we develop the structure. They come to us and they say, hey, we have this. They know that we have a strong experience in international tax structuring. So they come to us, they ask our feedback, and sometimes, usually, big clients, they don't have just one advisor. They have 2 or 3, or I don't know how many. So they always want to hear like different law firms and accounting firms and everyone, given to build a good structure, a good solution. So we were very well coordinated with law firms, sometimes on our own, but most of the times together. Big clients, usually they work with both at the same time. So that's something that we do all the time. And that's also important. I mean, being able to work with other people with other backgrounds. Accountants, I mean, I have to work with accountants every day. Accountants, they have a different way to approach the problems than lawyers. So it's good to have the legal background. It helps me a lot to sometimes to tweak things that they don't see, because they don't understand law. So that's why that's the way we used to work with law firms and big corporations. I mean, probably all the U.S. big corporations, big multinationals, we work with them. So, another question? Any feedback?
You pointed out that there's a lot of lawyers who work at the PwC. I have a lot of friends that work at Deloitte. They're also lawyers as well. What is basically the difference between a lawyer working at a law firm and working at a accounting firm or consulting firm?
Well, I mean, I would say that the difference is sometimes how deep you go in the issues, how deep you evaluate something. From a tax standpoint, we always go deep in the tax issues, not the legal one. The legal one, for instance, we call it regulatory. If there is a transaction, we have like an investment fund, a U.S. private equity firm that wants to go and invest in Brazilian distressed debt. So they come to me and they say, okay, we want to do this. How do we do it? So I know, okay, you know, we should use some some tax haven vehicle to minimize taxes, and you have to structure this way, use a Luxembourg company that can give you finance, etc. That is the tax structure. That is, we say, basically we design how it should be done. And then we say, okay, now talk to your local counsel or talk to whoever is your law firm, and they give you the feedback, okay, yes, you want to go to Cayman, you want to set up a company in Cayman, this is the company you should set up, an LLP or different partnership, etc. So I would say, they go to the technical issue, legal technical, but we design the tax structure. We say, okay, this is how you need to move the boxes, because always it's little boxes in Luxembourg and Netherlands and Cayman, etc. So we say that. And then lawyers are basically the ones drafting the legal documents or telling, oh, if you want to invest in distressed debt in Brazil or distressed debt in any country, you need to have a regulated vehicle. So you need to get approval from the local SEC. So that's the kind of stuff that we don't do. We probably know, but we just legally we cannot, provide that service. But we say, okay, this is regulatory. Be aware of that. Talk to your local counsel. But this is the structure. That's how we design, that's how we do tax planning.
Sounds like you do all the fun stuff.
Well, sometimes it is. It is. I guess everyone is doing, well, we don't do legal documents, which I don't know is not that fun. I remember like writing those public deeds very long or, reading everything to make sure that everything is okay. So I don't do that. But it's true that I get the chance to...
The legal writing professor is in the classroom, so beware.
That was the greatest class I had. No, but I had the chance to, usually we have conferences, so you get the chance to travel a lot. You go to, because all transactions are like worldwide. So sometimes, there is something, we need a meeting in Luxembourg, a meeting in Switzerland. You have to go there. Abu Dhabi, and now Abu Dhabi, all these sovereign wealth funds that are investing a lot. So you get the chance to go to China, or I've been to Abu Dhabi, so it's nice. That's always is good, and again that's why it is important to be open to different cultures, different experiences. So that's something that is good to keep in mind.
Do you feel a lot of cultural differences, like how business is done in Chile and how business is done in the U.S., like in terms of how decisions are made, maybe some political issues, some differences there, and how do you kind of confront with the difference in the styles?
Yeah, and I can tell you that the first year that I was there, it was shocking, because the way business are done in Latin America is like everything is, I don't want to hurt feelings of anyone from Latin America, I'm from there, but it's like in slow motion. It's like, it's okay, we're going to have a meeting. You say, okay, here, an example, very easy. They call you and they say, oh, we want to buy this company. Okay, so why don't we have a meeting next week? I'm open. What about 3 p.m.? Okay, 3 p.m. We have a meeting just to talk about how to structure the deal, just to think about the deal. Here it is, hey, we have a company, we want to buy a company, I don't know, like $150 million deal, and we want to buy a company in Brazil. Okay, so how do we do it? Right now. It's not tomorrow. No, conference call now. What about 4 p.m.? I'm going to get my in-house counsel or the local team, so we have a call. Let's find out the solution right now. And tomorrow I want to have like a slide deck, PowerPoint with the structure. But that's it. So in Latin America, it's like that would have taken like a month, easily. And it's true. And the thing is that now Latin American countries, and it holds true for other countries also. In Europe too, I've been talking to people in Germany, they say, well, it's not like, here in the US is something that I realized that conference call is like a national sport. It's like everything is conference call. It's like, hey, tomorrow we need to talk about something. Like, send the dial-in code, we have a conference call. Put it on my calendar. That's the way it's done. In Latin America, is call the secretary, tell her that talk to like 7 people and arrange a conference call. So it's like a whole different thing. And the problem is that many companies in Latin America, like I said, in other countries, even in Europe, they have to learn how to do business with the U.S. or how to do business just in a like fast speed. Like everything has to be done in 1 month. That's it. So they are struggling. People from companies in different countries, they are like, people that are maybe 50 years old. They're not used to. So you're changing the whole way they do business. So that is a little bit difficult sometimes. And in my experience, the first year was difficult for me to understand, but I got the concept right away. So I said, okay, this is just different. I mean, I cannot try to bring my culture here. No, this is different. So I have to adjust and just follow the trend. I mean, just get on the wagon, right? So that's what I did. And at the end of the day, you can manage that. You can deal with them. You cannot try to impose right away your way of doing business, but you have to be mindful. You have to, try to keep both on the same page.
I have a question. What do you, for both, feel free to respond. What do you think that is the most difficult? Is to talk to the internal client, like motivate your teams, talk to the other guy, for example, in Verizon, from the accounting area, or it's more difficult when you are in a law firm that you need to deal with the external client, because there is a difference of relation. Well, how do you think that is more difficult, if there is difference, or because when you are in a corporation, you have internal clients that you are with them all the time. You cannot say, hey, I will not see you anymore tomorrow. And at the same time, you have also the team that you work with that you need to manage. Sometimes you have 10 other lawyers that you're not close to, maybe they are in other countries. This is one thing. And another thing is the external client when you are in a law firm. So how do you think that these experiences are similar or different? What the knowledge that you, now that you have more than 10 years of career, that you can bring to the students that are here?
Well, I guess it will depend on how do you define difficult. Being an internal and in-house attorney, you need to be involved in the business and to understand the business. And that's something that your client would expect from you even before meeting with you. So you need to be mindful of how the company does business and how to achieve that, and bear all the internal policies in mind to provide a legal advice. Whereas when you are an external counsel, you don't need to have that knowledge. And they are not expecting from you to have that knowledge, but they are expecting from you to be more knowledgeable of the legal issue that is being discussed. So you need to be more thorough in your advice, in your legal advice, when you are external counsel, less involved in the business. Whereas when you are in an in-house, you have the luxury of not being that thorough on the legal advice, but you need to understand the business. So it will depend on how you define difficulty.
In my case, I guess it's always good to know the business. And again, what I do is like I help so many different companies. And sometimes I work a lot with private equity firms and hedge funds in New York. They're investing in every single thing that you can think about. It's like, I don't know, like in the past it was a lot of, we call them NPLs, non-performing loans, distressed debt. There were like investments in, I don't know, gold mines or CDs, I don't know, not CDs deposit, it was like CDs music. I don't know, like IP, like pharmaceutical IP that is completely expired protection, so now they still sell it. So it's good to always learn a little bit about the business, what they are trying to do, because that helps you, I guess, having a better idea of what they're trying to invest, you know, the investment. But it's impossible to learn every single thing. I mean, you have investments in like I said, oil and gas and then financial products. So it's impossible to know every single thing, but it's always good to get a little bit of the background of what they are trying to do. So that's a good idea. Nope.
All right. So thank you very much.
Produced by Duke University. Online at duke.edu.